How's everybody doing? We're rolling here now. We just got done with our week. We're heading home for the weekend, and a lot of you, some of you coming to this channel might already know me and Mama from we're a team drivers for over the road for R&L carriers. We've been teaming together almost 2 years now. March it'll be 2 years, and I've been over the road truck driver for 13 years now. I trained 10 of those years, and I trained over a couple hundred students from just getting their CDL license. Train them how to drive, how to shift, how to manage their money, how to be a successful owner-operator. I was an owner-operator, and through the years, I built up. My background is finance. I've been in finance my whole life. I managed a jewelry store for 5 years. We did our own credit. We did our own financing. We approved people for credit. I was in the auto industry after that. I did financing in the auto industry. I went from the auto industry to the mortgage business. I did the mortgage business for a couple years and learned enough where I started my own business in Florida. And we were very successful at that until the collapse in 2007, when the mortgage industry collapsed, and it put a lot of people out of work. More than just the mortgage industry, it was construction, electricians, plumbers, a lot of people that was connected to the mortgage industry. But that was my background, financing. When the mortgage business collapsed, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had 2 big house payments. I made good money. I made a 6-figure income for many years. I didn't want to go back selling cars. I didn't know what I was going to do. I called a couple drivers that I did mortgages for that made 6 figures, and I asked them, how can I get into this? What can I expect? How much money can I make? How soon can I make money? I need to make money fast. The mortgage business, when it collapsed, I didn't accept it for 6-7 months. So I went 7 months without income, paying $7,000 a month for 2 house payments, not accepting that the mortgage business was gone. So I burned up a lot of money, and I had to make money quick. So I called them. They told me what I should do. I ended up going to Stevens Transport. They were one company that would take me on as a new driver with no experience, that will allow me, after my training, they allowed me to have my own truck. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to drive company. I didn't want to drive lease. I wanted to have my own truck. That's how I was going to make the money. So anyway, my background was pretty much finance and management. When I was in the trucking industry over the 10 years, I trained, like I said, over a couple hundred drivers, and over time, I would have meetings. Management would try to get me in the office, sit me down. They'd want to record me, do an interview, and ask me, what are you training your students? What are you saying to your students, like some of our top drivers in the fleet, all of them, you train. Why do they get it? What are you telling them? How did you go 2 million miles with students with no accidents, no incidences, no tickets, no problems, dispatch, customer service, everybody that we talk to say that your students are like some of the top in the fleet. What's going on? What are you saying to them? I never really told them. I never really said anything. I didn't want anything on tape. I would just give them some, little short answers. I never wanted to tell them anything. Because I knew my training, the way that I taught my students, is not something they wanted to hear. They didn't want the way that I taught my students. I taught them the game of over the road, all the pitfalls, all the things that are going to cost you money, all the things not to do, everything that you could possibly lose money at in trucking. How to look out for themselves, how to look out for their license, how to look out for them. They're their own business. Every truck driver is their own company, and you have to look out for yourself as a business. If you work for Stevens, if you work for Swift, if you work for Prime, that's fine. They have their policies, they have their procedures, they have the way that they like to do business. But guess what? You're a business. I'm in business for me. I have a CDL. I have a license to make a ton of money if I do it properly. And sometimes that don't go along with your policies. My policies are not the same as your policies. I'm here for number one, to make money, to provide for my family. And that's what I would teach my students. When they got on my truck, I would tell them the first thing. I would tell them, I'm not big. I'm not going to get out. I'm not going to do a pre-trip with you every day. I'm not going to follow you around and make sure you hit every part. I'm not going to climb under the trailer and teach you how to measure brakes. I'm not going to look at them with you. But when you get off of this truck, you are going to know how to make money. You're going to know how to take care of your family. You're going to know how to watch your back. You're going to know you're going to be in business in 5 years. You're going to be in business in 10 years, if that's what you want to do. After I left Stevens, I went to Prime. While I was at Prime, I had a couple people in management got promoted to other companies, and they called me and they said, hey, I talked to the owner of this company. I told him about you. I told him about your students. I told him about your drivers. I told him about the outstanding performances that we get out of your drivers, and he wants you. He wants you to come here. He wants you to train his drivers, whatever you were training your drivers. I don't know what you were telling them, but he wants you to train his drivers. So I kind of thought, I was making good money. I was teaming with my son at the time. I was kind of done with training. I did meet with them a couple times, and I turned it down. They offered me a $10,000 a month salary to come and run the lease department and to coach their drivers to be successful like my drivers were at Stevens. I didn't want to do it. After I thought about it, their mouths drop. They're like, why won't he do that? That's a hell of a lot of money we offered him. What was this guy crazy? And again, I thought about it in the way that I train, the way that I teach my students. They don't want it. They don't want to hear it. If they sat in one of my meetings, I'd be fired that day. They don't want to know what I'm telling them, because again, what I'm telling them is how to survive their program. Because Mama's over there, she's trying to get my attention. She's singing. I teach them how to survive their program, and they don't want to hear it. If they would have heard it, I would have been out the door. Then, after months of attempts, they got me to come to their office. It was in Colorado. I met with them. They tried to give me, we'll pay for your apartment, we'll pay for your move. Your son can come here, he can be dispatched. I just kept turning it down. I said, no, it's nice, but I don't really know how to train. I don't know how to train the way you want me to train. I don't know how to train drivers to come in and lay down and fall for your program and do whatever you want them to do and make minimum money and just be happy with just surviving. That's not the way that I train my students. I train them to be the top percentage of drivers on the road. After a couple months, the owner called me and he said, listen, man, I've talked to many managers, many dispatchers at Stevens. I want you here. You don't have to have an office here. You stay on your truck. You keep your job at Prime, and you let me I'm going to give out your number to all my drivers. I'll pay you $6,000 a month, and you just need to make your phone number available to all my drivers. I want you to coach them. I want you to tell them whatever you were telling your students before. I want my drivers to be confident like that. I want my drivers to know, to be responsible, to understand the job, to understand. They didn't know what I was telling them though. I turned it down. I said, you know what? I'm not going to take your money because I don't want that. I don't want that in my name. I don't want to come there to you, for you to find out what I'm saying to these drivers, and then smear my name around where I don't have an opportunity ever to go into management or into training or anything in trucking. So I didn't do that. I've had students, all my students, you should do videos over the years. Do videos, tell people what you're saying, help other drivers. I just never did it. I got burned out with it, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I had all the students that I had, they call me all the time, and I stuck by them. And it was just, over the road is a tough business, man. It's a tough business, and it is not designed for the driver to be successful. It is not designed for that. So you have to have a program. You have to have a game plan. You have a CDL. You can make money with it. You have to have a game plan. And if you follow that game plan, you can make a lot of money. It's not going to make people happy all the time, but you will make money. And that's the reason my wife's been telling me, she has a channel, P&I Trucker Girl USA. She's been telling me for 5-6 years, you need to make a channel, you need to talk to people, you need to let them know. All my boys drive truck, my wife drives truck, everybody I train, they're pretty much in a 6-figure income. They know what they're doing, they know the industry, they know what to expect, and those people always tell me to share it, tell people about it. And my wife, if you guys all know her, I just got passed by the police, and I'm going 60 though in a 55. My wife's the sweetest thing, and she made me. I'm gonna start this channel. I have it. It's Over the Road Survival Camp, because that's what it is out here. It's survival. You have to know how to survive in this game, and once you know how to do it, you will always do good. And it's a mindset. It's a total mindset, and knowledge. The knowledge that you have, and the positive mindset. If you guys watch my wife all the time, if you see my kids, if you see a lot of my students, they're positive mindset, and because they know they got the rabbit by the balls, and they know it, nobody can mess with them. And but anyway, I just wanted to give a little introduction to this channel. Hope you guys subscribe. All this is for new drivers, to help you out. I'll give out videos on everything that I taught to my drivers. It was more of like, I like to have the driver in the truck because it's more of like a hypnosis. What do you call it? When you brain not hypnotize. I really have to have. If I have the driver in the truck, I can change his mindset and get him on the right path. But I'm gonna try it with this channel. See if I can get out there. See if I can help some folks. And if you guys want, subscribe, and we'll see if we can work together and get you guys, if you're new, if you're struggling, if you don't understand some things, I want to try to help you guys out. My wife's making me do it. But you guys subscribe, and let's build this thing. If you know new drivers that are struggling, new drivers that want some advice, I would retrain with the companies that I was with. I did so well with the new drivers. I would get the old drivers, 10 years, 8 years, 15 years, that are constantly struggling or constantly getting in trouble, getting in accidents, getting incidences. Before they would fire the drivers, they would send them out with me. So I would get drivers that thought they knew everything, that were ready to be fired, and they would get on my truck, and I would help them out. I would help them out with whatever they needed and get them on the right path. And a lot of them called me later, thanked me, and it was really a rewarding job. And but it's tough. So you guys subscribe, and we're gonna get going. We're gonna get started with this thing and get it rolling, and see if we can make some money for you guys. And Over the Road Survival Camp, let's get it going. Let's go, guys.